Hey guys, welcome back to Second Kick Moto and Auto. We got the new Ultra behind us here, and thanks to a good friend of mine, Scott, thank you Scott, I got up on the bench there some Rinehart exhaust, some slip-on mufflers that we're going to put on, and we're going to see, if we can get a little more sound out of this bike, because the stock mufflers just don't quite cut it. And I was fortunate enough to have a friend that upgraded his exhaust, and he gave me a great deal on the mufflers he had on his bike, and they're in really good shape. So here we go. So before I get it up on the lift, just take a peek. One of the things I don't like is how far it sits. The stock mufflers sit behind the bag extensions. Hopefully these Rineharts will help out with that. And I'll go ahead and give you the sound of the stock muffler. So I went ahead and I've put the bike up on the lift, tied off safely. Obviously, I always put the center cross lift up just to, stabilize the bike. So I did take the tour pack off the back. Not that you need to for the install, just for the simple reason of putting it up on my lift. It's, not only just weight, but it's just something else out of the way. If you're struggling to get the lift up or off or something, and that's big and cumbersome and in your way, then that could be a problem. So it's just a at mind thing. So to do this install, of course, we're gonna have to take the bags off, and then we're gonna have a clamp right here, and I'll show you once the bag's off, but there's some mounting brackets just up on top, and we may have to loosen the heat shields. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find that out as we go along here. And then here's the Rineharts. Very, very nice. And mounting hardware. The only thing I am going to have to try and save and reuse is the factory exhaust clamp, which shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and get the bags off, and I'll come back to you. So now the bags are off, you can see a little better what's going on here. So here's your bracket. This is the stock muffler. We're going to take these two bolts off. And then, like I showed you before, the clamp up under here. And they're going to need a good wiggle, perhaps a tap to get off. And it's the same procedure. Oh, excuse me, stepping on my lift lever there. Same on this side. And we'll get these off. So mufflers are off. Pretty straightforward. That clamp, which, believe it or not, I could get a 15 mil on there, and nothing standard, so apparently it's a metric clamp. I did loosen this heat shield off, the two little hose clamps behind it, just to slide it to get out of the way. And I believe we still need this top piece, so I'm leaving it there, because I think that's what the new exhaust bolts do. So we'll leave that there for now. And this side is pretty much the same deal. I'm gonna actually pull these clamps off and clean them up a little bit before I put the new mufflers on. And this side, I will say, just to warn you, if you're doing your exhaust, because it goes under and bolts on the other side with another clamp, it does move a bunch. So if you have a friend, you might want to get them to hang on to it while you wiggle the muffler off, but don't have to force anything too hard. It comes off pretty easy. So I'm going to get the Rineharts ready and those clamps cleaned up, and we will get to putting the new exhaust on. And by the way, you don't need to have a tune if you're just doing exhaust, like slip-on mufflers. Obviously, I don't know about a full exhaust system, but just the slip-ons on the back. If you start to put an air cleaner and exhaust on, that's when you got to get a tune on your bike. So there's enough measurement in the stock computer to compensate for the better flowing exhaust, but you don't want to put too much on there because you will lean your bike out too much. Okay, back in a minute. So something to remember while you're fitting your new exhaust on, nothing's tight yet. I've just got everything in place, just loose, you know, snug enough that it's not falling off, but I can move it around and it'll stay where it stays. And I went ahead and threw a saddlebag on, you know, just to check. You're looking at things like how far is it sticking out the back, you know, your gap around, make sure everything's, you know, nothing's going to be touching and everything's nice and even. And then you can go ahead and tighten it up after that. That way when you get it all done, you don't have crooked tailpipes. Okay, with a few test fits and everything's tightened up now, make sure I took the bags on and off a couple times, make sure everything looks good from the back. This is it. So now the Rineharts do use the stock exhaust bracket up on the top. It does come with its own hardware though, and it's just the factory Harley exhaust clamp will go there. Make sure you get your heat shield lined up. I've given everything a good cleaning, get all your handprints and fingerprints off of it so you don't burn that into your chrome. And I'm going to get the bags on in a minute and then start the bike up, and I'm going to let it run for a little bit, let it learn its new exhaust, because I'm sure it'll sense a little easier flow through the O2 sensors and whatnot. And this is what it looks like. Much better than the stock exhaust that was tucked up inside. Now you've got the exhaust sticking out the end like it should. And I think that's great. I think that's what an exhaust should look like on a bike. And I'll fire it up for you guys in a second. You can hear it. Like I said before, just take your time, get everything lined up the way you want it to be, make sure it looks good, make sure you're happy with it, and be happy with your end results, and make sure you clean everything. Okay, so here's the new sound. Much better, guys. That's what a Harley should sound like. Okay, so I'm going to let this tune itself a little bit. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If this video has helped you or you like what you see, give me that thumbs up. And if you want to know when more content goes up, tap that bell. Cheers. Thanks for watching.